Afternoon, guys. I'm Dave Canterbury with Self-Reliance Outfitters in the Pathfinder School. I'm going to do an experiment today based off of a post I saw from Joe Price today on the Living to Learn Center. He did a video of a reciprocating type bow saw blade connected to paracord on a spring pole. Hard to explain if you didn't see the video. But it gave me an idea to put that in an upright position and build a table for it to make almost like a reciprocating pole lathe with a saw blade. So I'm going to experiment with that today and make a little simple structure and see if I can make it work. Stay with me. Theoretical testing phase right now to see if this idea is even going to work. Joe Price put up a pretty cool video today on the Living to Learn Center, a little spring-loaded saw. I thought putting this in the vertical, more like a reciprocating pole lathe, I'd be able to make almost like a table saw with this thing. It's a matter of keeping this all in a straight line and then figuring out where that line's at to kind of create a channel for that saw blade to ride into. So that's the next step. But I think the up and down port, the spring portion, all that is okay in the testing phase anyway. All right, so we've got to have this saw riding kind of in a curve so it's straight up and down. So we're going to have to cut a bit of a curve into both sides of this so that it can be captured here with just a little bit of space. We'll tie that down, and then here. So it's captured here and doesn't have very far to ride to go up and down. And then we'll have to build the rest of the table, and that will be adjusted over to keep this going straight up and down and keep it in a single spot. So we'll lash both of these logs in before we do any further testing. I'm using a bit of a modified diagonal lash here. When I come up this time, I'm going to put the frappings in right here. I'm going to really give this dude a cinch down, get underneath this log, really give this thing a cinch down with my frapping. Just cinch it all up good. Got a tail over here to tie off on. And I'm just going to tie a square knot on that tail, I think. Although I really should, to do this properly, I should be lashing this off in a clove hitch at the end, but I think I'm going to be better off with a square knot here, to tell you the truth. I gotta tell you, I'm pretty excited about this because I cut this second kerf in right here with this saw, just like this, and it worked perfectly. So I can see that the things are caught into it there. I got to keep my foot, my pressure back to keep it in that back kerf back there. And then going to be on the money. I also need to move my cordage back just a little bit on my foot lever, but this thing is going to work for sure. Right over left, you knucklehead. Square knots, not granny knots. Okay, now get this thing right. Turn it just a little bit if we can. There we go. Lash them down right there. And where are we gonna be? Should be okay. Okay, since this is just really for theoretical practice, I'm not going to lash these two logs. I'm going to put this third one on here. You can see I've knuckled up against this a couple times, tying this down, but I'm just going to lash this last one down in here pretty close and tight to where I can squeeze the other two in between. Instead of filling up the rest of the table, I can do that later. And then I'm going to give it a theoretical test, I guess, if you will, to see if it's going to work. Get this one lashed on. Again with a diagonal lash. Get it tight enough up there to squeeze those other two in between pretty tight so they don't rattle around. Our string wrapped around our leg down here. There we go. Generally I use the same number of wraps as fraps. If I've got 3 lashings this direction, I'm going to come around here, go 3 this direction, and then I'll put 3 fraps on it. The trick when you're doing tight stuff like this is to get the cord down in between things, because sometimes... Okay, well, might as well test it out on a piece of oak here. I got a semi-decent table here. You can see it rides up and down the channel good. And the reason I went here with the channel instead of just running it between 2 sticks is because I need that forward and back stability. I need it to ride in a very small channel. If it rode in this, it would have a lot of room to go back and forth. Okay, so we've got, try to pan this a little bit, we've got a toggle. All right, so we've got a toggle here. And we have a toggle down here. And our saw blade running through 2 channels there.